Water Buffalo TM is back with another Buff Talk.
Alrighty, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Old School Matt here. We're back with another Buff Talk. Today, I'm joined by a prior guest, David Seager, aka Mack Seager, the guru himself. What's going on, Mack? Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, what's going on? I like the new setup. I like this new monitor here. You guys can't see it at home, but it's pretty nice.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on. We talked last time a little bit about coding and programming and just like the way the world is. And I think that just from the conversations I've heard for the podcast that people listen to that you were on, they enjoyed the conversation and wanted to know a little bit more about Mack and kind of his philosophy on life. So we're going to take a different approach to today's podcast, maybe talk a little bit about programming and coding, but talk about more business and professionalism in today's society, and who better is to talk to than Mack himself. So just kind of opening up, like, how has the last couple of months been, Mack? Like, what have you been up to? How's work? How's, life and everything?
Just been working, honestly. Been playing a lot of poker. I would say that the majority of my time is spent working, but like I find enjoyment in my work. But actually right now I am on PTO. Obviously today's a federal holiday, but I took some time off, and I just hung out, just chilled, and I'm definitely ready to get kind of like back into working. So yeah.
How long was your PTO?
It was a couple days.
Yep.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, and then obviously the weekend, and now Monday.
Yeah.
So pretty long.
I wanted to ask you a question, just kind of like we talked about it last time, your experience in the software development industry and, as a programmer yourself. We've talked about the various high, what is the list called? Like the high, there's like a list of programming companies that people want to work for.
Oh, like the high prestige, high TC companies.
Is that what it's called? TC?
Well, TC is total compensation.
I'm talking about, like, there's a list. Remember, you showed me there's like A, B.
Tier 1.
Tier 1,
Tier
2.
1. Yeah, there's actually like tier 0. So, what's one of the hedge funds? One of the major hedge funds?
BlackRock. Isn't that one of the tier 0?
I think BlackRock's a hedge fund.
I'm pretty sure
they just buy everything. They're just everything.
But they're a tier 0, right? Like, I remember you showed me.
Yeah, that. So like those quantitative developers are gonna get paid like amazing. Like that's like amazing. And then you got tier 1, which is like Google, Facebook, which arguably like Facebook isn't the best place to work anymore, but they're still getting paid really well and still a really good place to work. And so you can kind of look at like the quality of a company and ask yourself, oh, is this a place that I want to work at, based off of the people that are there? How smart are the people there? What research is being done there? And how much are they paying? And Facebook still is a great place to work. So, but yeah, so like tier 1, Google, Facebook, Netflix. Yeah.
But what I was trying to get to is you basically worked at, maybe not tier 1, but you worked at some pretty high tier 2.
Tier 2. I probably work at like tier 2, like Salesforce, probably tier 2. Indeed. Tier 2.
Yep. So basically what I was trying to say was you've worked at like some really good companies, right? And now, careers change a little bit. You're working other places. What have you learned over the past 10 years, or is it 10 years yet? Maybe 8 years in your professional career outside of software dev, like how the business is actually run, like compared to like you're working at X company. But before you used to work at the big companies, like what's the difference? What do you see being like the difference in how they run day to day, and not just the negatives, but also like, what's different about not working in those companies at the moment?
At these large companies, they have to deal with, 50,000 employees. So the internal tooling, it is just a lot better. There's a lot more, there's a lot more tooling in place that allows the company to be productive. And so like stuff like that, a lot of processes aren't as solidified, but that's the main difference. Another thing is like at these smaller companies, you can move so quick. If you want to make a simple feature for, let's say, Uber, by the way, is like a tier 1.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a small change to like, I don't know, like the driver experience of Uber, you know, you could open up a pull request and be done immediately. But like at Uber, it's going to be a little bit different. Long story short, it takes a long time to make small changes at these big companies. So you move slower.
Yep. But you move more efficiently rather than like a small company where you move faster, but you don't move as efficiently type of thing. Is it like a kind of like a seesaw?
Yeah, I'd say that there's more metrics at like a larger company.
Yep.
So like the stakeholders know when particular features are going to be delivered, and yeah,
and they're delivered on time. And they're ready on time before. So the point I was trying to get to is because we have these conversations all the time. Is like someone out of college, what do? Do they take an offer at the smaller firm?
Yes, you take the offer at the smaller firm. Oh God, see, I could totally help and anyone do this, but yeah, you take I think we talked about this last time, but you take the offer at the small place.
Yeah, but I'm not just talking software engineering. I'm talking anything. Accounting, finance, fucking digital media. Like you as a older, in his prime self, you're talking to a younger guy, whether he's an engineer or not. Does he start at a smaller time firm?
You grind. You get your income up, guys. You make as much money as you fucking can. Are you allowed to curse on this podcast?
In Jesus' name. No, I was kidding. In Jesus' name. But
you make as much money as you can, and you start grinding because like you got to get that income up, and you should always be leveling up on the weekends. I mean, I don't know how deep you want it. I don't know what questions you have. Do you want me to look at the outline? Because I know you sent me it. I didn't read it.
It's okay. No, I wasn't outlining. This wasn't a part of the outline.
Just sort of like
I was just kind of like
conversation starters
off the top of my head type of thing that I was trying to leverage some of your knowledge.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess I can go a little bit deeper. So like how I talked about this like the last time I was on the podcast. Like how are you spending your weekends? Aren't you like worried that you're gonna run out of money, or you're gonna rely on your parents for the rest of your life? Like,
yes,
so it's like if you feel pressured to make money, that's good. You should go out and grind while you're young. It's not going to get easier, and I don't want this to be like a doom and gloom podcast because like I'm super doom and gloom right now.
I think you're more realistic.
Yeah,
I would like to bring you more optimistic, but I think that your insight on certain things in the ways that we're related in our professional setting are important, and they're not talked about a lot. For example, like whenever we have conversations, they're never like spoken about outside of us. Yeah. But it's true. I mean, it's useful. I think that sometimes there is some sense of pessimism, and people might take that as like negative, but I don't think that it's a bad thing because you're not one of there's people that are pessimistic, and there's people that have that pessimistic tone to their voice, but they mean good. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Whiplash. Have you seen that? No. I think I told you to watch it, but like you're not pessimistic, and you're not like a lazy person that doesn't do shit. You're not one of these guys like, man, life sucks, this and that. You
know what? Going back to what you just said, which is like you told me to imagine a platform where like we become friends on this platform, like a social media, and then you say, Mac, I want you to watch this movie, and then like I click a checkbox when I've watched it, and then like I earn credit back to where I can tell you to go watch something.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Be silly.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we do say that all the time. Like, hey, man, go check this out.
Go check. Oh, go. And then another thing, like, I always thought about another idea is, like, why it's like I should know what movies you've watched. Like,
for conversation starters?
Like, no, just so, for example, I watched District 9 last night. You ever seen that movie?
No.
It's fucking cool. It's like
Netflix?
an alien movie. Where did I watch it? I don't even know. Long story short, like I should be able to go up, pull Matt's profile up, and see if he's watched District 9.
That would be cool. I don't know why Netflix doesn't do that already. They don't do that.
They probably do, but I'm just saying, like, even at like the higher level.
So just to sidetrack real quick, there are tools out there now that are like outreach tools for sales organizations that literally have like everything about you. I don't know if you came across them.
No.
Zoom Info, Seamless AI.
Well, Zoom Info's been around for.
Do you know have you heard of Zoom Info?
Zoom Info, isn't that how you register like companies? Zoom Info has been around forever.
I don't know if that's how you register a company. I just know that you can go into their database and type in. You can put a list of firms, and you can pretty much get. And I've done some testing to see how up to date it is. You can pretty much get like everyone who's working there, their work email, and their phone number, personal sometimes too.
Wow.
And what it does, I think Seamless AI does this. Zoom Info also does this. Is it takes like, so let's say we work at ABC Company, and it finds your email somewhere public, Mack.Seager at abccompany.com. It'll find like Matt Wynn at ABC Company on LinkedIn. And maybe my email is not public, but it'll do like a test, and it'll send like requests to the email. So it'll send like m.win, matthew.win, matthew.n, Matthew Win, and then like when it gets like a
200 response,
yeah, then it's crazy how that works. But it just because you talked about a profiling platform, it'd be interesting to have something like that for movies, or even have that on one of these sales platforms. Because if you know someone's into like, for example, like a sport or something, and you're trying to sell them something, and they know they're a fucking Red Sox fan or whatever.
Well, yeah. Look at Facebook. Facebook has everything too. Like, but nobody wants Facebook anymore. But yeah, when you like something on Facebook, like it's amazing, and an ability to like target all the Red Sox fans.
Yeah,
the Red Sox are probably like the organization themselves, like outside of their mailing list, and they have their previous people who have purchased tickets. But how often is the ticket associated with an email? But yeah, I don't know how we went on that track. Sorry about that.
No worries. I think it was any tangent is welcome. But before that, we were talking about small company, big company, guy out of college. Where does he go? And the reason why I want to get into this is because some of the things that you've brought to organizations that we've worked together in at some point was like you brought in Asana, you brought in Slack, which are two like basic things, but like small companies sometimes don't do that. They like text, or they don't use Teams.
I think companies that aren't using these tools are not going to exist in like in 10 years, 20. Look, everyone's getting older, and the success stories of the past, how they did it, congratulations. If you can't keep up, but yeah, Slack is like just a standard, like some type of internal communication tooling.
That's not text messages, right?
That's not text messages, not emails. And then, getting work done, it shouldn't be, and I ask this all the time. I'm like, okay, let's say you've got someone named John working at the company. I should be able to pull up a screen and know exactly what John's working on. And generally speaking, when something like this should be complete based off of his previous work.
And that would be Asana.
Something like Asana, or like Jira is more of like the standard.
Gotcha. No, I'm asking because you came into my life at a point where I was at a place and it wasn't leveraging a lot of these tools, a lot of like discommunication and stuff like that, but teaching me these tools that you don't really learn in college per se, which is it's not hard to pick these things up. It's more like a habitual thing. Like for me to not text you sometimes when you're working, I just Slack you because I know that's like where you're at. Your head is in Slack. Your head's not in text messages.
Like, during the workday, I'm going to get a notification.
Yep.
So, my phone, sure, I could have like the Google Messages up or something like that, but yeah.
And that's the thing with working at a smaller company is you feel more like personal ties to the people you're working with, which might fulfill some people. But when you work at a big organization, you're like disconnected from you don't text your coworker.
I'd say poorly managed small companies, dude, because look, like there's startups that are highly efficient and this is all standard. Most of this is standard, Matt. Like, maybe not outside of the tech industry. It hasn't hit that point yet, but like everything's going towards tech. If you want to own a coffee shop, like better have the loyalty program, better have the like application and the website and the all of it needs to be tech, even, like the accounting, inventory management, all of it's tech. It's all tech.
And with ChatGPT, OpenAI, how far do you think that's going to take? How far do you think it's going to be until the mundane like person that can't even use ChatGPT is out?
ChatGPT, wow, is like it's a really amazing. I think it's naive. There's two people that fuck up with the whole chat GPT thing. One side of the coin is going to say what? Chat GPT's coming, we're all fucked, like right now.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin's like, oh, well, you know, it can't do this, and oh, I'm not worried. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Should I?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, good. And so but the answer kind of lies somewhere in the middle. And my response is basically like, it's a little bit of both. But like, if you think it's not coming, I think 5 years. I mean, to give you an answer, like 5 years as a software engineer, can ChatGPT replace me right now? Nope, not even fucking close. Like, and then like I try and tell like some of the junior engineers I work with, like they're so obsessed with ChatGPT. I'm like, dude, this thing, like, it sucks. What is it good at? Boilerplate code. Looking at your code, debugging it, finding the issue. But what sucks about it now, in 3 years is going to replace my ass. So like, when we talk about like the two sides of the coin, I'm in the middle. I'm very much aware of ChatGPT is going to take my shit.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, and we can talk offline, or I could say right now, but I'm already looking for other work.
Really?
Yeah.
Like freelance work, or like?
I'm trying to get into real estate, basically.
Gotcha.
Get into real estate. Not only like I'm working on like buying an investment property in Ohio with this fucking awesome guy I can get you connected with. He's really cool. He's a good friend of mine at this point. I hired like a results trainer.
Yep.
And we just, I told you about that. Yeah. And he's gotten really close with me, and now it's just like, you know, we've known each other for almost a year, and he's like, look, I'm buying this property.
Yep.
And he's already got 20 properties.
Wow.
So, you know, he's done it before. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, the point of where I'm getting to is I was trying to segue into a podcast to talk a little bit about that and where people should be headed in the future. I've seen ChatGPT. I've used it. I use it all the time. But you're right in the sense that like for my, I guess my like area is not so much code sometimes, yeah, but it's more like using Excel. But ChatGPT has a lot of that.
ChatGPT is great, man.
It's like, instead of having to think through what I would do with formulations in Excel or how to write a script to get this from there, it does it for you. But the thing I've come across is I've showed people the tool and people are hesitant and they're like almost avoiding to use it. And I'm like, why? That's what I mean. Like, there are certain people, and we know these people just personally with our connections of working, that are not, I don't even know if they're lazy or they're just scared, but or just unintelligent enough to even leverage ChatGPT to its full potential. The reason why I can use ChatGPT and use it successfully and really like cut down on a lot of the work day to day is because I know how to use Excel to begin with. If I never know how to use Excel, then I wouldn't be able to use ChatGPT.
Exactly. You know, that's perfectly stated. You know how to use Excel. This is a tool that only makes your Excel usage better.
Yep.
Right? And the same thing with coding.
Yep.
This is how I talk to ChatGPT for people at home listening to the podcast. Hey, I'm building this. I need your help. Just send that. Start off with that. And then it comes back. Sure. Yeah. I'm able to blah, 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 blah. You know, so, and then you follow up with, okay, so yeah, you know, I was thinking, this is literally how I talk to Chat. I was thinking, you know, we probably need a users table to track the users that this, that, and the other. And then ChatGPT comes back. You're right! Exclamation point. All it does is affirm what I already know. Yeah. And then what it does really well, Matt, if you ever done any like system design, it tracks, like for software, it tracks all the little things that you guys have already talked about. So now you've got your own little personal note taker.
It's your VA, your virtual assistant.
Yes, on steroids. And what's
right?
Yeah, on steroids. Yeah. And so what's really cool about this is you guys will be talking, let's say you're building like a software system, right? You're doing some system design, and then once in a while, it'll throw in an additional nugget that you didn't mention, you didn't even mention it, and they'll give you one, like out of like the entire blob, one sentence will be like, you know, it trying to help you, you know, a suggestion. It'll make a suggestion, and the suggestion is fucking amazing.
Really?
ChatGPT is good. Very good.
Yeah.
But but tell it to go kind of like look into a code. Right now, like I was thinking about this morning, ChatGPT can help us, the human, like, and we can prompt it, but can it go into like a code base? Could it go into a problem space and have the context and then know what to do? Is another question. And it's,
you would say probably not, or
probably not, at least what they're showing us right now. But if you don't think that's coming in the next couple 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? Yeah. So with regards to what should we do to make money? I don't know. Like, I heard like cutting hair is.
You think so?
I heard like that's the last one to go, right?
Hair cutting?
Hair cutting is like the last one to go. There's a whole site.
Really?
That like tells you when it's going, the percentage of like
possibility that it's going to go.
That it's going to happen. I forget what it's called.
I think my manual labor would be probably video and photography, but I think that maybe can be automated by robots one day. I don't know.
That's a good point. Like, if I'm Kodak Black and I need someone to like record me, like, you know, is Kodak in jail? I was just listening to Kodak. That's why I brought him on.
I have no idea.
I don't even know. I'm not.
But could a robot replace like a videographer? I don't know. Like, is the arts gonna now be like where everyone needs to be? Like, because
I mean, if you're recording in the physical world,
yeah,
sure, robot's not gonna get there for a while.
Yeah,
but if you're like generating a picture, that shit is, you've seen that
logos and stuff.
Logos done.
Yeah, that's a tough spot.
It's a scary world, man. But here's the thing. Someday that there will be a robot, and they already exist. You guys have heard of Boston Dynamics?
I've heard of it before.
You know, the little dog. They dance and shit. Yeah.
The one from fucking Black Mirror.
I don't know what Black Mirror is.
Look at. Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. So you can go Boston Dynamics. Believe you can now purchase these dogs for like research purposes. I think they're like $50,000, or maybe no, you can purchase them for like your work.
200,000.
200,000. Yep. Okay, so yeah. And my point is like, do you think the robot just shows up, the dog, and just starts working? No, there's an SDK associated with that robot. You know what I mean by SDK?
Software development kit.
Exactly. People at home, it's just basically like an interface for an engineer to work with the robot. And so, like, if I order a Tesla bot to my house someday, there still may be work associated with troubleshooting the robot. Can it troubleshoot itself? When does the human come in? There will be new opportunities that form, but the traditional like software development of put this button on this page, so when the user clicks it, go here, and then like that's
10 years gone.
I don't know. But it's gonna be vastly different. That's at least all.
So I had to build a Squarespace site I'm building a Squarespace site for my church, right, for free. They asked to do this. I was sitting there, thought about Florida full stack. Obviously, with my knowledge of programming, I was like, I can write this. But then I remembered, I have ChatGPT. Let me ask ChatGPT how to do this. What the pastor wanted was for every time he uploaded a new playlist, a new card on the page to show up. And then
playlist on what?
On YouTube. So like he posts his sermons on YouTube.
YouTube
API.
Yeah.
So he posts the new sermon on his YouTube. He puts it in a playlist. Say this one is the parables of Jesus, right? Is a new playlist. He wants to have a card on his page that say parables, and then when they click it, they can see all the videos of parables. The next one, Christmas services, all the Christmas. So I started writing, and I was like, ChatGPT. So let me ask ChatGPT. Now, did I ask ChatGPT right away, and did it respond with the code right away? No, it took like 30 minutes to talk back and forth, and that probably also has to do with the fact that I'm not an expert engineer, but it took a little bit to figure out how do I get from A to B, but it worked. And I think that moving forward, at least in this space, it's going to be crucial so you don't get left in the dust to leverage OpenAI's ChatGPT or whatever artificial intelligence you can in your work environment, whatever you do. Because if you don't, you're dumb, in my opinion.
So what you just described is like you had a problem and you used ChatGPT through its entirety. What the tier 1 smart people are saying, tier 1, tier 0, Silicon Valley, you can go, there's an application called Blind. I think I mentioned that last time. It's called Blind.
Yeah. How much they make?
What do you mean?
It's like how much?
No, it's more than that. It's an anonymous co-working space for like Silicon Valley and all the big tech companies. But what they're saying is ChatGPT is a productivity tool.
Yep.
You know, that it's there to make you faster, more efficient. It's not. It could be used like the way that you used it, which is like, I want to figure something out. How do I do it, ChatGPT? You know, but you see what I'm saying? It's to help you be more productive.
Gotcha. But
in its current state.
And the reason why I didn't understand the full scope of how to do that was because I never had really developed too much in terms of like functionality on Squarespace. So that was one of the problems. I've built Squarespace sites that are like the basic, you know, drag and drop, you know, write some CSS and change some spacing and stuff. But like I have never done something to where it's like functionally pulling requests and you know, hooking up an API to a Squarespace site. So that was like a good starting point. And then it had some bugs in the code, like the header was blocking something, and like that stuff you figure out on your own, obviously, if you know it. But I just thought that was a cool project to where like within 30 minutes that would normally take somebody who, you know, a volunteer at the church probably a couple days, I figured it out in 30 minutes with ChatGPT.
You know another thing about ChatGPT? I'll tell you a story. So I have been writing. No, I was trying to write like a Bash script. I don't know if you know anything about those, Matt.
Yeah, it's like on the terminal, right?
Yeah. I was trying to write a Bash script, and I didn't know the syntax. You know, I'm not an expert, and so I asked ChatGPT, and then and I pressed go.
Yep.
And then open a new tab, you know, and at the same time press go into Google. Mm-hmm. Google comes back. I click on one of the first links. It wasn't an advertisement. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Clicked on a good-looking link.
Like an article.
Yeah, hey. Good-looking link. I click it, dude. The page loads, and then, you know, like the newsletter pop-up.
Yeah. Like, subscribe here. You were pissed?
And I'm like, if there's, like, people aren't talking about that. Yeah. Like, ChatGPT is just simply, like, a better experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and then I went back to the other tab to look at ChatGPT because we know it's done by this point. Yeah. And sure enough, there it was. The one line that I needed, copy, paste it, boom, done.
The whole point of this conversation, and I think you'll get where I'm going with this, is that in the interim, before OpenAI, just as a arbitrary name, ChatGPT, use that, before it takes us over and kills us, quote unquote, like, why not lean into it and use it? You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, another one, 110%. I wanted to clean up my resume because now I had experience doing XYZ. Mm-hmm. And my resume only had experience for doing ABC. I typed in ChatGPT. This is my past resume, bullet points. I need to add this XYZ task that I did this year.
Sure.
Can you clean it up? Yeah. And sure enough, what did it do? It cleaned it up for me. Versus me having to spend mental energy to say, okay, I'm going to switch to resume editing. Let me think about it, blah, blah, blah. That's an hour of my time. ChatGPT does it in 5 seconds. And then I edit it. Maybe there's a couple words a little weird, and then done.
Yeah.
You can fit more into a day.
I've been, I don't know if you've been doing this, but for emails, I've been using ChatGPT a lot. So like, I had a direct report that I needed to do like a 3 stanza, like, hey, this is how you did this quarter, or excuse me, this half. And
do we know this direct report?
You don't.
Okay.
So anyway, I basically told ChatGPT, like, look, you know, so and so is doing well. They're strong in this point. Clean this up, and sure enough. And then same with an email. I did it for an email.
But do you think that companies are like? Because I've seen like, and this is accounting for you. Some big 4 accounting firms are like, no ChatGPT, and like, no, you guys can't use it. I understand why that would be relevant for client information because it stores all that stuff, right? So that cybersecurity issues there. True. But for productivity, like if I'm just asking Excel functions or I'm asking how to write a VBA script to pull data from XYZ database, I don't see a problem. I mean, I've been using it so much.
I mean, so like OpenAI, I'm pretty sure you can pay now, right?
Yeah, I pay. Do you pay?
No, I don't use it that much, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not there. It's I don't know, man. It's not. I guess I'm really good at this point. I'm really good at software engineering. So like, if anything, I do not trust ChatGPT. ChatGPT makes countless errors, and I always have to tell it like, okay, you know, Sometimes I'm like, hey man, like that really should be named this, and it should be an integer, not a string. Yeah. And they're like, you're right, human.
Yeah.
They immediately understand. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So like, I do use it, but I don't use it enough to justify. But at the same time, I could definitely, you know, buy it for $20 a month. It's right. It's $20 a month.
Yeah. The reason why I use it for $20 a month is because it gives you free API tokens to do calls on there. Like you get a bunch of shit. But aside,
I think what I was getting at with is like, when you do pay for these services, hopefully it comes with like some type of like data agreement, such that like customer personal information isn't going to be stored in their data set. But is that even possible? So I see what you're saying. It's a good point. Hey, are we taking a break at some point on this podcast? I need to use the restroom.
Yeah, go.
Yep. So I just used the restroom, and we're back.
Yeah. So essentially, the conversation I wanted to get to and kind of go to was using the tools you have available to in your belt right now, because I feel like a lot of people don't do that. And that's even before ChatGPT. Like,
all right,
ChatGPT, real quick. ChatGPT, oh shit, Jesus, earthquake. ChatGPT is like a fast-tracked YouTube now for certain people. Because like before ChatGPT, if I didn't know how to do something, I don't have someone to look up to, like other than you, obviously, but like people to tell me what to do for certain things. So what's next? What's the next best step? YouTube or Google? And you were saying that Google, by the time you go and look at it, look at the documentation.
Web page is annoying.
ChatGPT, boom, already done.
Yeah. So. Can I just say something that's like super cringe?
Yeah, that's it.
So YouTube with the ChatGPT content. Make $1,000 a day.
Yeah, with ChatGPT.
With ChatGPT. And then it's got like 400,000 views.
Yeah.
You think anybody's making money with ChatGPT? Give me a fucking break.
I think copywriters could make money. Copywriting is like a legitimate.
Okay. Anytime I'm watching a video where it's like, use this method, method to make money, you ain't gonna make money.
I'm sure if they pursue it with all they have, they can make money. But most people that watch those videos don't. They watch it and then
they're watching the video, bro.
Yeah, exactly, they're watching the video.
Sure, yeah. It's like the whole drop shipping facade. Mm-hmm. Like it's like, I can work from my home. Have you heard? I've seen this one ad about flipping beds on Airbnb. Have you seen this?
No. But I'm sure you could make money.
Classic advertising. It's just like, work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Passive. You need no money, no skills. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. If you're still falling for those types of marketing ploys, like,
why would you not want to have skills though? That's what I don't understand. When these people are like, no skills required, it's like, why the fuck would you want to do something that requires no skills? Isn't that an indicator that shit's gonna phase out, even if it is gonna make money?
I don't know. I don't give a shit. I just say this, like, and I tell this all the time, and people at home, making money, as much people, it's like, you try making money for like 10 years straight. You know, I want to see how far you get. How many times have you failed? It's like, if you haven't failed more than 5 times, like, you're not even fucking close, dude. And everyone's looking for that like overnight success shit. It doesn't, trust me, I've tried it, and I'll continue to try. And then eventually I'll be like 40 something years old and I'll be printing.
Yeah.
But that's because I've tried and failed so many times. Like this overnight bullshit with, so that's the cringe part about ChatGPT right now. People are like, ugh, I can use it to like, I see what you're saying, which is like, yeah, we shouldn't be afraid of using ChatGPT, but like, let's not make this like a thing where it's like 10x your life and fucking make more money with ChatGPT. Like and subscribe. Be sure to ring the bell for fucking notifications. So cringe. It's like the TikTok.
It's like the drop shipping. It's like for the next couple of years, that's going to be the new thing.
AI. Get on AI before everyone else does. Click the link below. Give me $19 a month.
Yeah.
Join my Discord where a bunch of fucking white men are just coming together. Like, trying to make... It's like, dude, you guys are all broke. I love it. Yeah. I love it.
No, I get you. And that's what I was trying to get to is I think that now, though, the polarization between, like, complete duds in the workplace and, like, high achievers is going to be... Like, there used to be a mesh, right? There's, like, a gray area. But I feel like it's going to be more black and white because people like you and I, or at least people like you, I hope to be someone like you one day in terms of intelligence, will use these tools to, like, 10x our productivity.
Yeah.
Versus the people that never did anything to 10x their productivity in the past are going to continue to stay on that side. Like, I've talked to people about ChatGPT that I go to school with that I know that aren't the best at certain things and they're kind of lazy and shit. I'm like, dude, you should try to use it in work when you have an opportunity. And I give them a tool or like fix your resume. And they're still like like typing their resume out, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
No, you're right. It's a good point. Like, look, if you're not going to keep up,
yeah, I
don't think it's at the point now, Matt. I see what you're getting at.
It's a lot smarter than a lot of people, though.
Oh, like, dude, it's smarter than all of us.
Exactly.
I don't think it's at the point yet where I'm not talking about the technology. I'm just saying, like, I think it's there are people that are like learn how to prompt correctly on ChatGPT. You know, stay ahead of the game. It's not there yet. Like, when the tooling becomes something where it's like, oh fuck, I've got to learn this, or I've got to start utilizing this, or I'm screwed. I don't think it's there yet. I don't think it's like, if I'm not using ChatGPT, I can't succeed. No.
Gotcha.
Do I use ChatGPT? Yeah, of course I use it.
Yeah.
Not that much though. No. That's why I don't pay for it.
You don't use it every day? No.
I mean, what can I get out of it? You know, and it's a longer conversation, but for me in my day-to-day work, it actually takes me longer to use ChatGPT. You know what it's really good for? New, fresh, green projects. Like, no existing code.
Yep.
Like, database design. You know, the different classes. Like, oh, you know what I've been doing? I'm like, this. I use this. I was like, hey, can you please implement the strategy pattern in Ruby? So
what is that?
So there's a bunch of design patterns.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this to you. So like in software engineering, there's a bunch of like design patterns. One of them is like the most simple is probably like called the builder pattern. And another pattern is called like the strategy pattern. Long story short, it's a way of organizing your code such that it's super easy to extend and edit down the line and make applicable for different use cases. I asked ChatGPT, I was like, hey, can you implement the strategy pattern in Ruby? Boom. And like, that's awesome.
With the existing code that you have?
No, just excuse me. Just like normal, like, no existing code. I told ChatGPT to do it. Got it. It was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's fucking sick. And sure enough, now this one repository I'm contributing to, like, I have like a nice block of clean, well-tested code. Another thing ChatGPT can do, it can test code for you.
Yeah.
Like write unit tests, which I don't know if you have any experience.
I know what you're talking about. I don't think we ever got into that, but you're trying to break your code so it can go in there.
It's like automated tests. So it's code that's testing your code.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we didn't go really into it.
No, I don't know. I don't have the experience with that. But no, I mean, for the most part, with my basic Python that I write for finance reasons, like I wanted to hook up to a database called the ADV filings. And they had a API you can use, but I was a little bit confused with their documentation, and I asked ChatGPT like 2 questions, and it helped me out, and it was good. But I think because I have the knowledge of how to do that in the first place, that like a person who's never wrote a single line of code in their whole life would probably not be able to do that. Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fucking motivated all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's the Mitra. Shout out to Mitra. Mitra and the Nootropics. I had the Nootropics this morning.
Oh, yeah, can you put a little of that in?
Yeah, we're fucking.
I think I had I had 200 milligrams of caffeine. So there's only 100 in that, right?
You want the whole thing?
How much milligrams caffeine?
100.
100, yeah. Do you have a little? So
should.
No, I'm feeling super motivated right now. Just sitting here chit chatting with Matt. Just really thinking like, so what some other things that I'm thinking about right now is like where do we put our money for like long term crypto, like long term, short term. And one of the things, Matt, I know I already mentioned this to you, but I'm gonna follow up with it today. Is every year. You can put $10,000 towards. Yep, I think it's a series.
The bonds.
Yeah, it's called a series bond or series
six something.
Series I maybe.
Series I.
$10,000, and it's basically a guaranteed government. Government bond. That beats inflation. So if you have a bunch of cash sitting around, it's like if you want to carry cash. It's a really good way to at least beat inflation right now. So I'm also looking into like different dividend stocks or like ETFs.
There's a good ETF that I have. I'll send it to you. It's like 10%.
But and then I was like, it's like because fuck. Can I just kind of ramble, Matt? Yeah. So here's the problem. It's like everyone tells you put your money into assets, income generating assets. well, tell me some income generating assets. Oh, well, real estate. Okay, well, that sounds like a fucking pain in the ass, but I'm going to do it, right? Obviously, I already own a home. I'm going to get another rental property, and like, I can play that game. But another one that's often suggested is the dividend, like ETFs and stocks. But if you want 100% passive income just based off of like the stock, your portfolio has to be like 6 million. I mean, like, we'll say like $4 million, $2 million.
That's the thing about
thank you.
just money is like money compounds. So like we were talking about drop shipping, right? For example, if you have $50K to invest in a drop shipping company, like your own drop shipping company, to pay for the ads on Amazon, to pay for the ads on whatever, fucking Google and shit, I'm sure you can become a millionaire if you have $100,000 to invest in a drop shipping company.
Really? Because I'm down.
So. What?
I said I want that. I would do that.
I don't know, but I don't know. It's so competitive. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I was trying to close out the last conversation. Like, a guy who has $50 in his bank account is not going to be, and knock on wood, I'm not trying to like. You can do whatever you want, but it's, you know what I'm saying. Like, that guy is going to struggle a lot more than the guy who has $100,000 in his bank account to become successful in dropshipping or whatever.
And so, what was the first thing that I said? You know, at the forefront of this podcast is like, you should be working more hours to get your income up. So then eventually you can take that income stream and put it into assets. Yeah. And so when you get into that game, now I'm in a situation where it's like I'm making all of this money and I don't feel like I'm doing enough
with your money,
with my money, and it fucking eats away at me. But then I'm like, dude, you're fine.
Take a step back.
Like
I struggle with the same thing. A lot of times, like, just taking a step back. I mean, you're obviously way more ahead than me, and you got to think about it too, Mac. You're probably ahead more than, like, I think you're almost at that point. Not going to disclose your actual income, but you're almost at that point to where you're like, you have to start worrying about some of the things that rich people worry about.
Sure.
In a sense, which is, I think it's a good point. But I know what you're saying, because like people say all the time to me, is like, oh yeah, for your age, this and that, you're better than the average, but we don't want to be better than the average. If I'm only better than the average, then that's a bad place for me. That means I'm a loser.
Buddy,
Sorry.
We're gonna be very, very successful. Like, but we have to make money, and it's like, I can't, like, you can tell me this ETF, and I'm gonna write it down and everything, you know, and I can put money into that. But is that gonna get me to where I want to be? Fuck no. I gotta focus on business, starting a company that's gonna produce me a shit ton of money. And anything other than that, like, if you're focused on focus on your income, right? My goal is make $1 million a year. You know, I think that's pretty public, if you will, at this point. That, like, as soon as I'm at, hey,
who is it?
Yeah.
What happened? Do you need something?
Do you have your keys?
No, I gave it to Dad.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So,
like $1 million a year, and then I can have another alcoholic beverage.
Really?
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah. Do you want to get back into alcohol though, or no? Because I know that was a big point in your life that didn't really fare too well.
I would like to eventually be able to simply enjoy alcohol with the average person.
Do you feel like left out sometimes when you're like, I can't drink?
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to stay more in that. I can't drink either. I haven't drinking since my buddy's wedding, but I don't know. I don't think alcohol is like the. I think this probably gives you something, right? Like the kratom.
It's tea though, bro. Sometimes I'm at the kava bar and everyone's like, right? I'm like, dude, we're drinking tea. Yeah. Like, it's the most what's it called?
Vanilla form of getting high.
Yeah, it's like, it's so anyway. So
because you're used to doing all that crazy shit in college. Maybe I don't want to like pry on your prior years, but do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Talk about
just your experience with like having like being a loser in a way.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, but
I'm obviously you weren't a loser. Yeah. Obviously, I was never a loser. But when I look back to when I was like getting fucked up and doing stupid things in college, to me, I was a loser.
But we can talk about the obsessive nature of Hollywood, like pushing American children to. I was looking at that last night.
Yeah, it's a good talk.
Pushing our American children towards like extreme consumption of alcohol while they are in college. right?
Yeah.
We can talk about that if you'd like. But yeah, so dude, like college, like if you're not drunk every night, are you even like doing college correctly? Like if dude, I was high and drunk throughout my entire college experience.
Yeah.
And it was so much fucking fun. And dude, I worked my ass off though. So I was like on Adderall, smoking weed, fucking like drinking, like just like barely, you know. I graduated with like a 3.6.
Do you miss those days? Or are you like?
Uh,
You can be honest. I don't. I hated that time, bro. I'll be honest with you.
I will say, like, it was dangerous. It was like risky. But it was like, I'm glad I had those experiences. Like,
Really?
I'm like, for example, I'm glad I bought into the World Series of Poker main event. Like, that was the bucket list item that I did. I think I hadn't played. I think the last time I was on the podcast, I hadn't done it yet.
No.
I don't believe so.
No.
But that was something that occurred.
But to me, I don't mean to cut you off, but to me, like you spending, can I disclose the amount? Poker.
Oh yeah, World Series of Poker main event is $10,000.
So you disclosing 10 grand. For me, I feel like because, and this is not just because I'm your friend, but I feel like you worked really hard, and that was more of like something that you just wanted to accomplish. Like some people may like, damn, that's he lost 10 grand. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But for you, I know that you've been playing poker for like 15 years, right?
Yeah, since I was
you were a
16.
little kid. So like that's different, but I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that was a waste is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and plus it was all based off of like money that I had earned in cash games. So it's like I didn't take $10,000 out of my account. I took $10,000 a wad of cash underneath my mattress.
Yeah.
That was given to me by the rich Palm Beach fucking white people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But anyways, continue.
Uh,
You're talking about college.
yeah,
and
yeah,
that
college.
experience.
Basically, like you're supposed to get drunk in college because you know Hollywood has told you to do so. And if you don't get drunk, and if you're not doing that thing, what do you feel like left out? And so, anyway, I really enjoy getting drunk because it was like, you just lose control, and I love that shit.
You miss
So
it.
it was no, I don't miss it, bro.
Yeah.
I don't miss it because of the anxiety that I would get the day after, and then of course, like you can't drink and not do cocaine. I mean,
Yeah. So you're more of like that. We're all just telling stories. We're not. None of this is actually true. We're all just storytelling. But you think that was a necessary part in your life because, the way I see it, I don't know. I'm a guy who thinks that like God has a path for you, and God wanted Mack to go through that, so he doesn't have to go through that when he has kids one day, type of thing.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
God wanted Matt to be a crazy fucking fraternity party guy in college so that when he settles down with his wife, he doesn't have any thoughts about doing this, right?
Sure.
But when I think about it now as a more mature being, I was like, that was valuable time that I spent that has now put me in a behind place. I don't know. I always feel that way, that I'm always behind
Yeah, but Matt,
because I am, but for most people, they don't think that you're behind, you know?
I would ask you, like, you ever think like you're hard on yourself?
Sometimes, but also sometimes I think that I'm not hard enough on myself. What about you?
Well, I always have to like you said earlier, like take a step back and just be like, dude, like nobody else is trying that hard. So like, how hard should I be on myself? Like you're like, oh, that was time wasted but like at the same time too, you probably had some fun in there, and it's like, but yeah, like moving all in on like success and shit, like technically speaking, I wouldn't be doing anything but working. I've been following this guy now he's actually the exact same personality type as me. His name is Tom Bailu.
Tom Bailu.
He's on YouTube. Successful dude.
What is
He
he
talked he has a company. I think it's like a marketing company. I don't, but his YouTube content is like amazing. Like I haven't been following him very long, like maybe a month and a half. I've watched probably like 4 or 5 videos, but they're long. They're like hour-long episodes. But he talks about like grinding 10 hours a day, like 10, 12 hours a day, every single day, multiple years in a row. So that's moving all in on success. And when I look at like what I'm doing, I'm like light years away from that, dude. Like at 6 p.m., if I'm just trying to chill, I'll chill. So like, it's amazing like how all in you can move on success and work, and like it just eats away your life. But like how far away I am from that. I do work a lot. Don't get me wrong.
I don't think you're far from that. I don't think so, dude. Like people don't know, and we're not going to disclose our like personal, like you know what I'm talking about. There's things about that we know about each other that people don't know, but I think that for your age, 27, 28, 28, you're doing pretty good. The next thing that if I can pry on your like if I had to be your coach type of thing, it's just like you said is like focus on something that you can do for Mack. Like that Mack does. But the way I see it for you, like that's poker for you in a way, right?
I love poker, yeah.
Like that's your thing. Like the way that I like to work out, and I just happen to have workout and, you know, triathlon shit tied into my brand. But like I feel like for you, that's poker for you.
So
like when I saw you when we used to work together in an office, when I saw you at work at like 8:30 playing online poker, like that's how I know that you're into that shit.
Oh, dude, I'm obsessed. For sure.
And I don't know if you have disclaimer, I don't know if Mack has a terrible gambling addiction, but I think that Mack's more into the side of like you hire. I remember like 2 years ago, whatever, you hired a guy to come in to teach you how to play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you hired a coach.
Yeah.
People that gamble don't hire coaches. If, like people that have gambling addictions.
Poker is like, truthfully, poker is a form of gambling, but like ultimately there is so much money to be made. Because it all has to do with, we could do another podcast on poker if you want.
Yeah.
Because that I can ramble for like an hour. But it has to do with like the different situations that you find yourself in and like putting your money into specific spots. But the variance is intense. It's a theoretical game that I enjoy thoroughly. It's just like playing chess, which I've been getting into chess a little bit. Chess is a lot of fun.
But I know you, and what I was trying to say is like I know that Mack Seager, David Seager, hiring a coach and playing online poker, from what I understand, is not because he has a problem with gambling. It has because he wants to learn the game. Like, for example, my dad at some point had some gambling things going on in his life. He didn't hire a coach to get better at poker. He was just enjoying gambling, going to casino, like 99% of other people that gamble. But that's what I see for you. But I get what you're saying, that you feel like at this point in your life you should be at let's just say $1 million a year, right? Whatever. But you're also like you're doing pretty good, dude. You're doing pretty good. And I think people like on YouTube and stuff, obviously that guy's probably extremely successful, but the timelines for everyone's success is different.
That's a good point. And you shouldn't compare. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying like I'm not doing well. I'm definitely doing well. But
you
like,
want to bring it a little closer if you don't mind. So.
Yeah. I said I'm not like saying I'm not doing well. What I am saying is like, am I doing enough? And like I can look at myself and the answer is no. Dude,
Me too.
Like yesterday, I didn't do shit, man. I just hung out, and that's okay. But then it's like, is it okay? It's like how deep do you want to get with like the grind mindset? And the reality is, Matt, and this is a warning to everyone there watching, like we really need to like start taking our lives even more seriously. I know it sounds like, oh, we can't take our life seriously. We're like, where's the enjoyment? Like, be happy. Can you just like smell the roses? Fuck you. Anyone that's gonna tell you like, oh, why don't you stop and smell the roses, man? Fuck you. You want me to be broke on the side of the street when I'm fucking 50?
Yeah.
It's like you don't, like all these people, anybody that's trying to like say, hey, oh, you work all the time. Oh, all you do is work. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I agree.
I hope you don't have any of that negative fucking bullshit in your life, Matt, because that's what pisses me off, and that's actually what motivates me. People like I honestly want someone to like talk some shit to me.
I don't have that.
You don't have any negative like.
I would say the closest thing that comes to like people being negative is like acquaintances that I have that when there's like a birthday or something, they're like, they don't even ask me anymore though, because they know I'm gonna say no. Like if my boys are going out for my people that I know, like when I was 22, I'm 23 now, maybe 21, 22, they were like still asking me, come. Now it's like they know I'm not going to go, so they don't even bother me.
And so you're still young, dude. Wow, this is great. This is a good conversation. What's going to happen is when they get older, when they're like 25, 26, do you think they're going to want to go out? No, everyone ultimately goes the same way, which is what? Children and kids, right? Yeah. So like, here's the way I look at the whole kid situation. If you don't have kids and you're not trying to be like fucking like, if you're not trying to live the experience, if you're not grinding, if you're not living, like if traveling the world's your thing and like vlogging, like in backpacking, if you're not like all in on something, then like you're wasting your existence. If you have kids,
Yeah.
Do it. Do the 9 to
call it a
5.
day.
Fucking watch TV. Watch the Super Bowl. Watch the Super. I didn't watch the fucking Super Bowl.
You know what happened during the Super Bowl, Mac? During the Super Bowl, the people I was with did not know about ChatGPT, and the guy that I was with, which is my brother-in-law, Annika's sister's husband,
Oh my God.
was like, he's a CPA,
Yeah.
smart dude, very smart. He was like asking me some questions about, he has like this online trading card site. He's into trading cards, like basketball cards and stuff. And he was like asking me, he's like, this guy that I follow, he's like, he has this Excel sheet that you can type in the card or the name of the player, and it'll give you a list of cards that are listed in all their stats, like how much the highest they sold, blah, blah, the volume of sale. And I was like, dude, I could probably figure this out for you before we leave. And he's like, how? I'm like, oh, let me just try asking ChatGPT. So within the last 2 quarters of the Super Bowl, I figured out with ChatGPT's help, send him an Excel sheet to where he can type in the name of the card or the person, and it'll return a result from that website by just scraping the HTML. And his mind was like blown. It was super simple.
Yeah.
It ended up being like a function you can actually just do inside of Excel, but then like adding some extra shit on top of it was. But what were you asking me before?
Oh, just making sure that there's nobody like in your life that's.
So yeah, you said Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the reason why I said that is because during the Super Bowl, I didn't give a fuck who won or who lost. I didn't care. I was sitting there like enjoying the company of family. But when I had the moment to like try to do some skills and try something new, where I can write a little bit of Python to learn more about X, Y, and Z, I fucking whipped out my laptop in the middle of the Super Bowl. Didn't care about what was going on. I think like some crazy stuff had happened in the Super Bowl, like some crazy calls and like things were going on. I was just trying to talk to ChatGPT and write code. So like that's the point where I'm at, because that doesn't interest me. And it might be a rat race for us. Like we might be chasing this inevitable dream that will never fully feel accomplished. But I would rather do that than be a lazy fuck and enjoy Netflix. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And like that mindset you just said, like, oh, well, like, is this like the reality is with ChatGPT, with AI, we're running out of time to make money. Remember that conversation me and Evander had? And I told everyone, I said, Evander said, well, what are you so afraid of? I said, I'm afraid of living in a world where it doesn't matter how hard I work, how like dedicated I am to my craft, and how good I am, that I can't make money.
Yeah.
And so if you think that in 10 years you're going to be able to make money, or it's going to be any easier to make money, you're way out of your mind. So it's either A, give up, roll over, and fucking find yourself in a camp. Yeah. You know, a FEMA camp. That, it's a joke. I'm joking. Like, or like dedicate yourself to making money now and getting ahead now.
Pretty much just kind of closing out the podcast, and after just having an extensive conversation about AI, just personal, like, I guess precautions, like what the fuck do we do? Like we're all the smart people, not trying to say people are dumb, are at a point where like we see the future coming. Like we know that there's an urgency to get our money quick. You know, at this point, like what's the next steps? And like I think Matt kind of entailed everything pretty well, like kind of wrapped it up, and basically just keep fucking working hard, keep doing what you have to do, and living your purpose day to day. Like and this is the way I kind of see it too, is like when I slack off, I think of somebody else out there that has more hunger than me and is younger than me. So somebody that's like, they're kind of like I'm getting my ass chased by somebody else. Like when I think about like, you know, just fucking off. Sometimes I fuck off. I watch shit on YouTube that's fucking useless. I watch shit on Instagram. It's useless. I fucking hang out with people that's useless. Like I'm not perfect, but I think about somebody else out there that's hungrier than me and younger than me that's going to take my spot. So that's what I can say.
That's well said, man. I think if you're broke, that hunger comes like naturally. Yeah. But at this point, I wouldn't say I have nothing to lose. I have stuff to lose, but at the same time, I don't have any kids. Like, there's no excuse for me. And I would just say, like, look, you know, if you're a man, actually, let's not even talk about the women. Are we allowed to be like man versus women on this podcast? If you're a man and you're relying on your girl to pay for some shit, or you're relying on your friend's dad, your mom. If you're relying on someone else, you better be making sure that you're putting in enough work to get off somebody else's dime and to get yourself to the next step in your life.
You're right.
And that's like my main thing. Like, I know so many people I know so many people that like are 28 years old that are just still, and it's not this, like, I'm not saying living at home is
No, I know. I was about to follow up with you.
Is a bad thing, but they're still living at the home. And it's like, are you saving for the down payment? How far away are you? Can you be working extra hours? It's like, are you really doing everything that you can do to make sure that you build the life, or are you just going through the motions? Because if it's the latter, great. But don't be in like my biggest pet peeve, I might have said this last podcast, is people that like aren't, like, they pretend like they're trying to better themselves, but they really aren't. I love people that are just like, I don't give a fuck. I love people that are like, I don't want to work. I don't want to leave my parents' house. Cool. You're all in on not giving a fuck. I get it, and I respect that. What I don't respect is like the middle game. Like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, there's so many ways to make money. My TikTok. Fucking TikTok motherfuckers. Stupid TikTok people, man. With the finance experts on TikTok and how to make this passive income. There's no such thing as passive income, bro. You worked your ass off to build a company for years that, yes, now you can kind of take a step back and work on growing the business. But like, this idea that things are just going to start magically like printing money for you, it's just not a thing, bro.
And I would say the biggest thing for me, motivator, and for people around my age too, is like the sense of embarrassment. Like I am not hungry because I necessarily need to be hungry, but I'm more like embarrassed. Like, I need to make more moves. That's the biggest thing for me right now. Yeah. And most people, like average people, are like, why? You're doing well, you do this, you have this, this, and this. I know. But for me, it's like, at this point, going to be 24 is like the embarrassment. Yeah. That's what motivates me, is like, I need to get with it. Yeah. And like, if I ask 9 out of 10 people 10 out of 10 people in my life, I would say, other than Mack and everyone else, like, if I asked full-time people, would be like, you're doing great. And Mack, obviously, you don't know everything about my life, and you don't know like other things going on, but like, I know that I'm doing good. Like, I know I'm doing good. Outside of what you know about me, I know I'm doing good, but I'm more like at the point to where I'm like starting to get like the embarrassment of not being where I want to be.
So imagine if your entire, imagine if when people think about Matt, they think about like a Yu-Gi-Oh player. And he loves Yu-Gi-Oh! And he's just dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh! But this motherfucker ain't ever won a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. He's been at it for 10 years. Like, when we choose in life to like pick the thing that we're going to do, imagine doing it and not seeing any results. So like, the thing that I've chosen to do is like, I guess, like, success, right? Well, now starting to see finally, like, but it's still not enough. So like, that embarrassment thing you're talking about, it only gets more embarrassing. It's like, I'm all about success. Yeah, but dude, you're only making 100K.
Yeah. Most people would think that 100K is like a good place to be. And
for what? To live paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
No, 100K is great. No, it's actually.
I've made more money this year than I ever have outside of work. I've made more money.
You got a little something here on your nose.
Sorry. Yeah. I've made more money than I've outside of work this year than I ever have, and a lot further than I thought that I would be, but it's still not enough to where I want to be. And the embarrassment of not being able to be where I want to be is what motivates me the most, pretty much every day. And people might think like, dude, what's wrong with you? What do you mean you're embarrassed? You're a fucking tank. And I'm like, I know, but I know that internally I could do more. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, you're at a battle with yourself. 100% I feel the same way. It's like, I'm now actually at that point where I'm kind of like, and I talked to my life coach about this, I feel like now I finally have created enough distance, like, to where there's not a lot of people anywhere remotely close to how much I'm making. Yeah. And like, okay, now that I'm in this spot, I can begin to work on other parts of my life. Like, I'm really thinking about my relationships a little bit more, and how I can, frame certain things better, and just be a little bit more aware of people and the way that they think, their perception of me, and how I sound. So there's like a lot of work that I can do, but I also feel like, okay, I'm winning this race. I'm so far ahead that I look behind me and I don't really see anybody near close to me. At least like my age, but I know that they exist.
Yeah.
In California, in New York, in fucking middle of the state. There's tons of people out there that are clearly way ahead of me. And so when I think about like, okay, what does my life, when someone thinks about Mack, what do they think about? Are they thinking about like, he does part-time stand-up comedy? No, they're thinking like, that guy is all about success. He's all about business. Oh yeah, well, how's he doing? Well, he's still trying.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
And so like, until I get that like big win,
yeah,
which it will come. I don't know if it'll come soon. I think it'll come soon. I know it'll come before 30 too. A lot of the like success podcasts, like Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, I always listen to the guests and I hear their stories. And when things really start clicking for a lot of these really successful guys? 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Like that span of time is when people that have been obsessed about success, Matt, like for example, like the reality is like, dude, you're a grinder. You're a beaver, right? You're going to be a beaver. And then at 28, Water Buffalo, like pops off. Now you're making like $50K a month. And it's just like, then you'll be in a podcast someday. You're 38 and you're going to be talking about the time when you were like 22 and like, you didn't see the results because the results are never going to be instant. So it's about like, just keep grinding. And it's embarrassing, bro. Dude, no, Andy Frisella talks about that.
I mean,
shit,
dude,
bro.
it's embarrassing at times to where I feel like spread thin in different areas, but it's more of like, I know that the bigger picture, it's not that big of a deal. Like it takes time to get places, but then there's the other side of your mind where you're like, I see a 21-year-old millionaire and I'm like, I could be 21. I'm 23. I could be a 23-year-old millionaire. It's not impossible. But then you also, and then this is kind of like the conversation that people have about like steroids in the gym. So this is a good connection.
Love steroids.
When I think, we'll close out after this because it's been a while. We talked so long, but it's good. When I think about young guys, right? I think
Rest in pieces.
When I think about young guys who are rich,
yeah,
you're like, fuck, I could be fucking 21 and be a millionaire. Why am I not a millionaire? But then your thoughts start to go to like, well, maybe his dad had a lot of money growing up. Maybe he was good. My parents, they did good, but we weren't rich. We were middle class. Maybe that's why he's rich. It's the same conversation with a guy who looks really good and he's on steroids, and everyone is like, man, that guy looks great, but I think he's on gear. He's on gear. It doesn't matter if he's on gear. It doesn't matter if he's got a rich dad or not. What matters is that somebody is doing something that you're not, and whatever cars you have, figure out how to get to that spot type of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you try to get the comparison I'm trying to make.
Oh,
but like,
it's a great comparison.
Like, you can either make the excuses for why there's a 21-year-old millionaire. His mom, her second husband was a entrepreneur, made $1 billion, and they gave him a $50 million loan. That's why he's rich. That's why the guy's driving Maserati. Or you can just look at the 21-year-old who's a millionaire as motivation and say, I'm not there. Let me get there. The same way as, the reason why I'm not shredded like this guy is because he's on fucking steroids. Instead of saying he's on steroids and not doing shit about the way you look, you can just say, he looks fucking great. He might be on steroids, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I look close to this. I'm using that as an arbitrary example, but I think you know what I'm trying to get to, and I hope people understand what I'm trying to get to. Is like, who cares about how they got there? We know people that family's rich, and they're always going to be rich, right? But it doesn't matter. Like, they have certain circumstances, you have certain circumstances. You can either bitch about and say like, oh, this is the reason why this guy's there, or you can continue working and it might take you longer, but you'll get there too. You can either choose one or the other. If you choose the one about complaining, then you'll never get there. If you try, even if you don't make it there, you'll get close, right? That's my thoughts.
Yeah, and on top, like I remember my life coach. He told me that like find someone that started at the same spot that you are that got to where they want to be.
Yep.
So
or worse than you.
So find the 21-year-old millionaire that grew up in the exact same town.
Yeah.
Went to the exact same school with the exact same parents, earning the exact same income, given all the exact opportunities that you have, and you'll see, oh fuck, it's possible. I can do it, and that can be motivating.
Or find someone who's had it worse, that grew up in the hood, that had to sleep in his mom's car.
Yeah.
Find someone that did that's succeeding, and then you look back, you're like, wow, I'm a piece of shit. That guy did it. Why the fuck can't I do it?
Yeah.
So there's two ways you can go about life, and I try to go with that way. And you can get hard on yourself, and at the end of the day, I'm a God-fearing man, so at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is to always be a good, godly individual and strive for God. That's number one for me. But at the same time, there's people out there that are a part of this Christian lifestyle, and I think they use God as an excuse to not better their success. Like they think that because they have to follow God, that they can't try to be successful too.
Really?
I've seen some of that. Personally, I've seen some of that. And I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I'm saying, like, in the Bible, it's very clear. God doesn't like when you are obsessed with money, but he doesn't have any problem with people being rich. God wants you to work hard. The problem comes is when you're fucking so obsessed with money that you're a greedy person. That's when there's problems, right? When you're, like, so greedy about money that it becomes an issue where you're ruining relationships. But there's no problem trying to chase money. In the Bible, I've been told this by a pastor of mine, great dude. There's nothing wrong with money. Money's great. Money's a tool, and it's a measurement of how much you've worked, especially if you weren't given the money, right?
Oh, it's how much you've worked. It's how much impact,
Yeah.
especially in 2023. And obviously, Andy Frisella talks about that all the time. But the idea is that, like, now, the amount of money that you make is completely based off of how much impact that you are having on the world. Whereas in the past, you used to be able to do some shady shit. You can't get away with that anymore because Google Maps reviews, Yelp, Instagram. Like, you can't do shady shit anymore. The golden days are over. Even though I'm still looking to start a Ponzi scheme, MLM, pyramid scheme.
The golden days are over.
Yeah, can't do it anymore.
Anyways, I will wrap up the podcast.
Yeah, if anybody wants to get in contact with me and start a
Ponzi scheme,
pyramid scheme, you want to scam some people, let me know.
Comment below. Hey, anyways, guys, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Mac, I appreciate you for coming on.
Of course.
Always being a good mentor for me. For anyone who doesn't know, Mac's a good friend of mine and always has guided me. I'm blessed to have him.
You can reach out to me on. Oh wait, that's right. I don't have social.
Yeah. Mac's a no social type of guy, but hopefully that'll change one day. I think you'll.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out with an Instagram, and my first photo is gonna be me with the black Lamborghini with the fucking doors up, and I'll be like, buy my 6-figure monthly course in the link below. #success. And then meanwhile, it's a rented Lambo.
Yeah. Or given to us by a very generous guy. But
give me a Porsche.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one. David Seager, Mack Seager, Old School Matt. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. Make sure to go check out all of our other podcasts, Buffalo Barbecues, our Buffalo workouts, and also a slew of other things, including challenges and whatnot. So make sure to check out all of these different things. Thank you guys for watching. I am Old School Matt here, and this is Water Buffalo TM. Peace.